There is a huge hypocrisy in the way that most people in the West have even paid attention to what's going on in Iran over the last 2 weeks. In just 3 days, we don't have an exact death toll, but it could be more people than have been killed in Gaza in over the 3 years that we had that war, 2.5 years that we had that war. But why are you saying, oh my God? I mean, can I speak? You know what?
Yes,
with this,
sorry, please go ahead. But that is just.
The fact that
I mean,
you
shouldn't just invent statistics.
I will never take away from the fight of the Iranian people because of where I sit. You know why I do what I do?
I'm not taking away from the Iranian people. I just don't want people to lie about them, and I don't want my government intervening militarily.
Glenn Greenwald duked it out with Iranian-American analyst Lisa Daftari on Piers Morgan's show yesterday, after Daftari absurdly claimed that the death toll in the Iran protests could be higher than that of Gaza, and that is such an insane statement. She, like war hawks in the media and in politics, she's arguing in favor of the US engaging in regime change with Iran. And unfortunately for those of us who actually prefer not to be at war constantly, it appears as though the Trump administration is leaning in their direction. NBC News published a somewhat laughable piece last night headlined, "Trump would want military action in Iran to be swift and decisive," sources say. They write, President Donald Trump has told his national security team that he would want any US military action in Iran to deliver a swift and decisive blow to the regime and not spark a sustained war that dragged on for weeks or months, according to the US official. Two people familiar with the discussions and a person so close to the White House. One of those people said, if he does something, he wants it to be definitive. But Trump's advisors have so far not been able to guarantee to him that the regime would quickly collapse after an American military strike. And there is concern that the US may not have all the assets in the region it would need to guard against what administration officials expect would be an aggressive Iranian response. NBC claims this could be reason for Trump to keep any military offensive in Iran limited. Regarding the claim that Trump wants to get in and out quickly, remember that Trump also said he wanted our last bombing campaign against Iran's nuclear facilities to be a one and done. And look where we are now. Additionally, there was originally some reporting suggesting that there was a handful of people within Trump's inner circle who were discouraging military action against Iran. But Ryan Grimm reported last night, inside the White House, there is effectively nobody arguing against strikes on Iran, with Rubio arguing Trump has to do it or he loses credibility. That means the only opposition is coming from outsiders like Bannon and Tucker and allies who are opposed, like Saudi, Qatar, and other regional partners. That's a heavy imbalance, suggesting strikes remain likely. On the other hand, there are some conflicting reports suggesting that Trump is backing off military action, at least for now. The New York Times reported that Netanyahu asked Trump to postpone an attack on Iran. The Times of Israel also claimed earlier today that Trump reportedly informed Iran that he won't be ordering a strike on the country over its deadly crackdown on protesters after the leaders of 4 Arab countries convinced him to hold off. But as they critically point out, the US did, however, offer similarly de-escalatory messaging last June before Trump ordered a major strike on 3 of Iran's nuclear sites. Today, when NBC asked Donald Trump if military action was coming, he simply said, "I'm not going to tell you that." Comforting. King of the Warhawks Lindsey Graham is still hopeful he will get his precious war.
There are a lot of headlines out there that are, in my view, not accurate. President Trump's resolve is not the question. The question is, when we do an operation like this, should it be bigger or smaller? I'm in the camp of bigger. Time will tell. I'm hopeful and optimistic that the regime days are numbered.
Now we have more we can get into, but Sharon, I want to bring you in here. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of speculation. what do you make of what the administration's current posture is, and what do you think we might see over the coming days or weeks?
It's a crapshoot. I don't know. Let's go to the circus. Is the circus still in town? Look, if Trump wakes up with a gas bubble tomorrow, he might strike. If he can grab a bottle of Tums, he might not. I mean, it's literally that ludicrous. All of this inside report, oh, he wants it to be a definitive strike. He just left Venezuela in chaos, okay? It couldn't be more destabilized than it is right now. On the one hand, he's putting on Truth Social that he's the leader, the interim president. On the other hand, he's saying the opposition leader, oh, I like her, she's great, oh, not credible. Then part of the regime that was left in place, she's doing a fantastic job. She better or else. None of that reporting means anything. And I don't know why these insiders are whispering to reporters in Washington, trying to make him seem smarter than he is. If he has gas, he'll strike. If he's feeling good, he won't. Nobody knows. What the lead was that was buried there is that Netanyahu asked him not to do it. So that's probably the thing that we can hang our hats on there for now. If Netanyahu's not interested for the moment, while he gets some other ducks in a row, then it won't happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's scary. It's worrisome. Like you point out with Venezuela, that didn't take out the regime government. You took out the leader. You bombed the country. You kidnapped the leader. The rest of the government is still in place. What do they expect here? That's the thing. Lindsey Graham is out there. Do you make it big? Or do you make it small? He, of course, wants it big because he wants the show. The guy is bloodthirsty. But in reality, you're not going to gain any support. You're not going to garner any new allies by bombing a country because as we saw in Venezuela, they killed innocent civilians. Sure, they kidnapped Maduro, but they killed thousands more innocent civilians. So you're going to turn people against you as you come in and try to replace their government. There's certainly a large share of the population that still is supportive of the current government. While there are protests, it's only going to make things worse if you come in and throw a Molotov cocktail, figuratively speaking, because this would be much larger and much more severe. But the thing is, this isn't a popular idea. President Donald Trump is still weighing military action against Iran, but new polling shows just how unpopular that decision might be. Quinnipiac University asked registered voters if they think the US should engage in war with Iran. You can see those results here. 70% said no. 18% said yes. 12 doesn't know. Broken down by party, independents, 80 to 11%, Democrats 79 to 7%, and Republicans 53 to 35% think the US should not get involved if protesters in Iran are killed while demonstrating against the Iranian government. That's 53% of Republicans saying no, don't get involved. I guess, Sharon, do you think that public polling that you have across the board, people not wanting this, do you think that'll impact Trump's decision here? Or is the military-industrial complex, are war hawks like Lindsey Graham, and potentially if Netanyahu says, go do it, do you think we might see a different course from Trump?
Netanyahu, sure, that could change things. The rest of it, no. Yes, he looks at polls and the like, but he always thinks he can weasel his way out of it by sending people like $2,000 checks or something to get back in good graces. It hasn't worked this time around thus far, but no, I think it's a crapshoot. I asked Grok, and Grok said, well, it depends on his business interest, congressional approval, risk to regional stability, saving face. I mean, for once, I agree with Grok. None of it makes sense, and we'll see. We'll just have to see. But he doesn't care what you think, I think, or the American people thinks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious here, like how much backlash, if any at all, there will be, because again, this is the no new wars guy. This was his whole thing. All of the Trump campaign, the Trump team beat their chests. Oh, no new wars with Trump. We're gonna get more. Hillary's a war hawk. Biden's a war hawk. Okay, well now what? You've bombed 6 or 7 countries already this year. You've kidnapped a leader. You're trying to do regime change in Iran. I mean, not just the no new wars line, which was used sporadically, but specifically Donald Trump on the trail and for years. You can go through all of his public comments, and as I did in a recent video, showed all the times going back to 2015. This is over a decade. He has been promising the days of regime change are over. Another lie, another betrayal of independence, of his base, of people who, because they were unhappy with their options on the Democratic side, for whatever reason, there is a contingent of people that believed him. I'm not saying that was a good idea, but if you are still of the mind that Donald Trump is some anti-war Republican, anti-intervention Republican, what more do you need to see? And there's another point in here that we talked about in Ryan Grimm's tweet. He talks about how the only opposition is coming from outsiders like Bannon, Tucker, and allies who are opposed like Saudi, Qatar, and other regional partners. And that heavy imbalance, Ryan suggests, says strikes remain likely. Again, I reiterate, Tucker Carlson is not an effective influencer here. He's not shaping public policy, and he's certainly not changing Trump's mind. Sharon, any final words before we go back to break?
No, here. Nobody's going to change his mind. He's going to do what he wants to do. We perhaps left out one possibility. If anything else comes out, Epstein files that makes him look like who we all know he is, his best friend was a perv, then maybe the strike will happen within 3 hours. That could be a factor.
Yeah.
This is who your president is. This is who is leading us, okay? Leader of the free world. This is what he's doing. And I firmly believe that if something comes out, I actually do believe that, Epstein-like, he could strike imminently.
Yep. If they need another distraction, that's on the table.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.